Hey guys, okay, basically what I'm going to show you is how to run a Minecraft server on a Mac. So basically, sorry, my Mac is just really full of icons and all that kind of crap. Let me just close my windows down. Okay, so basically what you want to do to start off with is just create a new folder called, well, really whatever you want. So I'm just going to name mine craftbukkit 953 server. And basically, you have your servers. So let me just clear it so I know which one we're using. Okay, so now you want to open it, and basically there's nothing in it. So what you want to do is go to Safari. Let me open a new tab. Okay, then you want to go to ci.bukkit.org. And basically this is the dashboard for all of their things. So these are all the essential things that they made themselves, but you don't actually have to use these. So the main one we're going to actually focus on today is craftbukkit. And basically craftbukkit is what the server basically runs off of. So if you want to get this thing called the 953 version. So you can just scroll, like if I go back, just go to the build history and click more and look for the one with the star next to it. So that'll be 953. And yeah, okay. So now you'll be here. What you want to download is the craftbukkit 0.0.1 snapshot.jar. So let me download that. And I'll say preparing to download. And well, yeah. So then we don't need that much anymore. Let me just wait for it to download. It's right there. Let's reopen it. And we have our craftbukkit snapshot. So you want to put that in your folder. Okay. So now you can keep it the same here, but it'll be easier if you just name it to craftbukkit or anything that's shorter. So I'm just going to go with this. Then you want to open up a terminal window. And basically in here, what you can do is you have to cd, which is command directory, and you want to cd to your folder. So basically what you have, it's really simple. You just type in cd space and then drag your folder in and then hit enter. And I'll say you've directed to your server folder. And okay, now you want to type in a command just to run this. So you have to type in java minus Xms1024M. And basically the 1024M is basically just to run it off one gig. If you want to run it off 2048M and so on. But I just don't want to make my computer lag, so I'm just going to do that. And then Xmx1024M, and then you hit minus jar, and the name of your craftbukkit runnable, so it's going to be craftbukkit.jar. And then if you want graphical user interface, you just type in GUI for a user interface, or no GUI, just to make the log of the server just come in your terminal window. So I'm just going to show you what GUI looks like. Let me run it. And it's going to do this. Okay, for Bukkit, it doesn't work, the GUI. So it doesn't matter what you type in. GUI, well, for some reason it makes it less laggy for me. So I just go with that. In the Minecraft.jar, you'll have a separate window which contains basically this, but like a proper formatted server directory. I'll leave the thing in the description, by the way. So now you just wait for all the generated files to fix in. I wish I could fast forward. Yeah. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to load, this is your world folder, and it'll contain all your data, like of your players, etc., etc. so we don't need all that at the moment. And okay, 69. Sorry. And then basically what you want to do is go into your server properties file, and I'll show you what each of these things do. So just ignore that part, those are just comments. So the level name world, basically what that is the name of your world folder. So you can change it to the name of your server, so I'll just change it to craftbukkit server. And then whatever you name it to the exact same thing. And then that will be the same thing. If you want the nether to be enabled on your server, you press true, so all the portals will come on, etc, etc, otherwise it won't be. View distance is basically every time a player logs on, that will be the distance they see at. So 10 is just default. I'd like to leave it the same as that. 8 is just one lower. 6, 4, 2, and then 0. 0 is basically they can't see anything. Let's just leave it at 10. If you want to spawn monsters like mobs, hostiles, you put that to true. So if you want skeletons, zombies, creepers, etc., you set it to true. Online mode, always keep it to true unless you're playing on a cracked server. Then basically you just keep it to false. So I'm going to keep it to true because we want an online server. Animals, okay, if you want sheep, chickens, whatever, let's keep that like that. Since we're running on 1 gig, it's best to keep it at 15. Oops, what's that? Oh well. Craftbukkit error. Reload it. Done. Okay, so there'll be no errors now. Max players. So at 1 gig, it's recommended to do 10 to 15 players. So it's safe to keep it at 10 for minimal lag. If you want 2 gigs, 20 to 25 players max. 3 gigs, 35, 40 players. 4 gigs, 50 players. And higher. So I'm running off 1 gig, so let me keep it at 10. Server IP. Okay, it's best to leave this blank on a bukkit server, because you don't know what, well, it doesn't work if you don't keep it blank. So if I just go like that, 0.0. Oops. I wouldn't be able to log in like that. So just leave it blank. PvP. If you want players to actually kill each other, have PvP, player versus player, keep it to true, otherwise keep it false. Level seed. Okay, if you don't, before you actually even generate, like if you've already accidentally generated your server, and you don't want that world, you can always delete the world folders, rename it to just world, and then delete them, to just delete the actual world folder, and then type in a level seed. So I'll just type in, favorite one, glacier, and then once you reload the server, oops, stop it. Okay, Java Xms1024M Xmx1024M -jar craftbukkit.jar GUI. And what it'll do, it will generate that new seed called Glacier, which is that. And yeah. Server port. Okay, the default Minecraft port is 25565, but on Windows, some Windows formats such as Windows XP don't let you run this properly. So it's best to keep it at 42594, like RuneScape servers, whatever like that. But I'll just keep it 2565, whatever. But you can seriously just use any port you want. You just have to give the exact port number to your players. And then if you want to allow flight, you put it to true. So magic carpet plugins won't work unless you set it to true. Otherwise just keep it false. And at whitelist, okay, this is really important. One way of keeping it to stop defaults is you put it to true, and there'll be a file called whitelist.txt. So if you want players to join the server, you'll have to add their name in. So for example, my IGN is MyCrazyDrummer. So now I can access the server. So I'll show you what happens if you don't put your name in. So since it's running off my own laptop, you can run in with either this thing plus your port. If it's 25565, you don't need it. Or you can run in as localhost. So I'll log in, and I'm not whitelisted. Unless I didn't reload properly. Let's give it some time. Dum 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 dum. Okay, it's been gay. Well, yeah, you guessed the gist of it. Okay. See, okay. Logging in. Now, if I don't want that to happen, just reload the server. Reloads all the files, and I won't be able to log in. This is my newly generated world. Okay. Shut that down. Okay. One vital thing is you never type in anything other than stop to stop your server. Otherwise, it'll mess up the files and it won't create any saves, etc., etc. So, yeah. Now, let's introduce... Okay, one other vital thing. If you want the spawn protection to not be there, so you can't... no one, even ops, can't place anything in spawn, put it to 0. Otherwise, you change your block radius. So it'll be 16 blocks away from spawn, and spawn itself will be protected. So let's just keep that at 0 for me. Now, you see this folder called plugins. That basically will be empty. If you want plugins, you go to plugins.bukkit.org, or you to go to forums.bukkit.org and look for plugin releases. So basically this is just it. The vital plugins that I actually use are things such as Essentials, or Essentials basically gives you all the commands such as warps, etc., etc. So you can just install that. And basically for the plugins, you need the recommended build. So if anything's for 740 or whatever, it may not necessarily work with your latest recommended build, which is 953. So it's safe to just keep with plugins that are actually at the latest build, unless you're willing to try it out. And then there's this one plugin which is hard to get your head around. And it's called... Oops. That's being gay. It's called permissions. And there's different things. So basically what I stick with is permissions 3.1.6. So, and basically in that, I'll do another tutorial for it later. That basically, you'll get all these permission nodes in Essentials, or any other plugin you get that has permissions enabled. Oh Jesus, great. Yeah. So, you'll get permissions nodes, so if I open TextEdit, one node would be something essentials.warp. And if you put that into a group that you set in the permissions file, that group will be able to use the essentials.warp. Or in the player's permissions file, you can make that player just have that one thing. So yeah, that's basically how servers work. There's many different things. You can click on fun. I'll show you loads of fun plugins. Lazy Road, which I use. BC Music's fine. Yeah. So yeah, play chess. Yeah, okay. So that's basically how to run a server in basic terms for Bukkit. Basically, Minecraft server.jar runs the same way. Yeah. So I'll just give you the basic code. Remember, Java minus Xms1024M, or whatever else you need. Xmx1024M minus jar. The name of your runnable jar file, which would be craftbukkit snapshot or whatever you named it. And then no GUI or GUI. I'll post that in the description. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll post a tutorial on further use of plugins later on. Thank you, bye.